Hey there, I'm Sarah, and today I'm going to be using my Light Seers Tarot, which is a new deck to me, and I've been absolutely loving this deck. I've been having some phenomenal readings with this deck, and the imagery is just so beautiful, so I'm excited to share it with you. I'm going to be pulling a card for the month of November with a message for the month of November for you, for your astrological sign. So as you watch this, I encourage you to either just watch your sun sign or your rising sign. You can watch for your sun, moon, and rising. I think anything past that, you're maybe gathering a little bit too much information. I'm someone that says, less is more. Really look for 1 to 2 messages here. So again, whether that's your sun and your rising, or maybe you relate more to your moon. I know personally, I always watch my sun and my rising. So whatever feels right to you, but I really encourage you to not just listen to this reading and then kind of move on with your life, but really listen to this. And I'm going to keep it simple on purpose. Every reading is only going to be a couple minutes long. And that is with the intention of you being able to really soak in the information and really reflect on the card that I'm sharing and then integrate it in the month of November, whether that's take some sort of action, maybe shift your mindset around something, set an intention, have a new perspective on something, have some clarity that frees up some sort of space in your mind, or maybe again helps you plan for something or redirect. But really, I always encourage, if you're going to watch readings like this online, make sure that you are really absorbing the information that is being shared and then do something about it. But that's why I think less is more. Less is more because the more simple we can keep things, I actually think the less overwhelming they are, obviously. But then that means that we're more likely to really do something with the information that we're gathering. Okay, so with that being said, I would like to get into this. I'm just going to go straight through the zodiac in the order. So Aries and then ending with Pisces. So going through the astrological calendar. Sometimes people get mad at me that you have to wait all the way to the end for Pisces, but I'm going to timestamp this video so you can go to your sign. Okay. It's all good. It's all good. All right. With that being said, let's start with Aries. I'm going to pull a card for Aries. I've already shuffled the deck a ton. So I'm just going to pull a card and then move on to the next sign. So Aries, let's see what comes up for you. Aries, love this for you. This is always a good thing in my book. I love this card. This is the Empress. So Aries, you got the Empress. And I think what this could be indicating for you in the month of November is a bit of rejuvenation, a bit of coming back to who you really are and reinvigorating that. So this to me, I think you're being encouraged to go back to, again, your roots. And it's funny because as I look at this particular card, so she's pregnant, and there's like an earth. Her pregnant belly is like an earth. And then if you look at her hair, she has like leaves and sticks in her hair. And Aries, there's something very primal about this here. And I think that life has maybe gotten kind of so busy and so complicated for you that you've gotten really away from, again, this true nature phrase keeps coming up for you. Really just what inspires you, what you love to do, your creativity, your artistry, the things that inspire you, and the things that most importantly make you feel grounded and then allow you to show up in the way that you want to show up. When we are so separated from these really kind of innate things that help us feel connected to this life and help us feel rejuvenated, inspired, ignited, when we're disconnected from those things, we don't always show up in the way that we're most proud of. And Aries, I would ask you how you felt about how you've been showing up in your life recently. And instead of beating yourself up, reminding yourself that all you have to do is go back to basics. Go back to who you are at your core. What excites you? What lights you up? What inspires you? And this is what I'm talking about when I say take action with these readings. Aries, what are the things, and I'm sure as I'm talking right now, you have some that are coming up for you that really fuel you, that make you feel alive, that you love to do, but you've gotten away from them for whatever reason. Pick one. Pick one. Pick one. I'm going to say it again because Aries, I know you're overachiever. In the month of November, don't pick 5, pick one. And find a place in the calendar for it and see how when you bring your life force back in, your creativity, your connection to nature, whatever this is that invigorates you, see how that ripples throughout the rest of your life, and it might make things feel a little bit easier. So if you're struggling right now, I think connecting back in this way, and again, the Empress card is a card of abundance. So what this is indicating to me is that if we can go back and kind of get you rooted again, get you reconnected, relit up, it then opens you up, right? You're like a receptor then for more of that good energy. So if you've been feeling off kilter, time to just get yourself back into balance. That's what I have for you, Aries. Thank you so much. I hope you have a beautiful November. Okay, Taurus. Taurus, interesting. So we have the Ace of Cups reversed for you. And so I'm wondering, Taurus, and this is where people get mad at me, but I don't care. I'm doing it because I'm the reader and I get to do it. Okay, perfect. I pulled a second card. That's what I was like. I know people get mad at me when I do that because they're like, hey, you didn't pull a second card for me. Sorry, sometimes that's just how it works. But I'm glad I pulled this second card for you, Taurus, because this Ace of Cups reverse, I had an indication of where we were going with this, and I was right, because then we have the Judgment card. And so I think what's going on here is you're really denying your true desires. There is something that you are not saying. There is something that you want deep in your soul. There is something that you keep going back to, a longing. And it is time to, if you even look at this card, look at this Judgment card. Look at how she's like actually transcending out of herself. There has to be some transparency and some honesty, because the thing is, Taurus, is you can only hide it for so long. If there is something that feels like it's missing, or something that you need to go after that you've been denying yourself of, or something that you're wanting, something that you're desiring, that you're holding back on out of fear of, is this okay to say this? Is this selfish if I want this? Are people going to think I'm flaky if I decide that whatever I have going on, I don't want and I want to pivot? But this is what I'm going to share with you, Taurus. And I think this is your message here today, is that you're now getting to a point where you cannot continue to deny your true feelings. Because the more that you deny your true feelings, people are going to be able to pick up on it. And it's going to kind of just start to spill over, right? That Ace of Cups literally talks about, especially when it's reversed, it talks about a spilling over of your emotion. So if you continue to repress this, and I think in the month of November, it's really kind of like a sink or swim type of situation, where you can either be really honest and open and say, this is what I'm wanting, this is what I'm needing, or you can continue to oppress it within yourself, and it will still burst out in other ways, whether it's through frustration, anger, maybe you don't show up, like maybe you're going to work and you're forgetting things, or you're, not maybe being like the best friend to somebody, or whatever that is, right? Maybe you're feeling disconnected at home. It's going to make itself known. And so I think the choice is yours in the month of November to just really, I would sit with, what do you need? What do you need to be honest? And also, what are your biggest fears around being honest? If you were honest about how you're really feeling and what you're really desiring and what you're really wanting, what do you fear will happen? Spell that out. I always say go to the worst case scenario. Flush it through. If you're honest about how you're feeling, what are you worried is going to happen? Go to the worst case scenario, and is it that bad? Most of the time it's not. So Taurus, I think this is kind of your next step in the month of November is finally acknowledging what has been simmering within you for a while before it bubbles over, right? Because we don't want it to bubble over. That's not going to be productive. What's actually more productive is to get in front of it and to let it be known and to start take action around whatever that is, whether you just need to say it or if it's like you really need to take some moves to make that happen in your life. Taurus, thank you so much. I hope that that landed with you and is making sense. As always, super curious. Comment below if you're comfortable with what this might be for you. Thank you, Taurus. I will see you next month. Okay, Gemini. Gemini, I love this. I love this card. So you have the Knight of Pentacles, Gemini. And I think what is being said here is that it is time to really get serious about yourself a little bit. I think you've kind of dabbled. I think you may be dabbling in a lot of things that you want, a lot of earthly pursuits. So whether it be a career thing, whether it be maybe like honestly, what's really coming through for me is like you've been really interested in homesteading, or you've been really interested in learning how to preserve your own food, or you've been really interested in learning like a new language or how to learn play an instrument. Like it just feels like there's something that you're kind of just ready to take yourself a little bit more seriously. I think that you've kind of maybe been dipping your toes in things and like living on the peripheral for a while, which is fine. Sometimes that's all we can handle. But I think you're actually maybe in a good spot now. And this is what I would reflect on, Gemini, is like, are you in a good spot now to really kind of take this all the way? So whether it be to finally enroll in music lessons or to finally, download Duolingo or pay for it, or maybe it's time to just really go buy those mason jars and try out some canning, see how it goes. I'm someone that has started learning how to preserve food. And I will tell you the only way to know how to preserve food is by watching videos or reading books and then trying it and seeing how it goes. That's a really big theme that comes up for me in readings all the time is this idea of like, there's just no way to know how something's going to work out besides just actually going and doing the thing and seeing how it goes. So I think that's kind of where you're at. And I'm really curious, Gemini, as always, feel free to comment below if you want to share with us what this thing is for you, but it feels like it's time for you. And, nights go on a journey. Nights go off and they kind of go down a rabbit hole for a while. And nights represent dedication. They also represent energy, having kind of a lot of like youthful energy. So, regardless of your age, you may just be feeling at this point in your life like you have the energy and the bandwidth to do this thing that you've been wanting to do, to put the time and energy into this thing. And so, I would say capitalize on that. Don't let that pass you by. Set yourself up for success in November. So, please don't wait until, November 20th and go, man, maybe it's like a couple weekends into November, and you're like, man, I don't really have a lot to do this weekend. I could totally learn how to can this weekend, but I haven't bought any cans. I haven't, looked at any recipes. I don't have any food to preserve. Like, set yourself up. There needs to be a planning process here of making this happen. So, I mean, I'm going to be releasing this video. I think it's going to be like October 29th. So you're going to have a few days before November even starts. Keep this simple, but set yourself up again, whether it's enrolling in that music class or if it's just even buying a book to learn how to play your instrument, or it's, making sure that you have the supplies you need to learn whatever you're wanting to learn. Set yourself up for success. But I think really it's about acknowledging that now is the time, you have the bandwidth, you have the energy, and it's time to just do it. So Gemini, Godspeed. I think that this is also really going to just, and hold on one second. I want to look at I'm hoping my microphone, okay, good. It's still recording. Sorry, that probably messed with the sound quality there for a second. I couldn't see the button. I think what this will do for you, Gemini, is this is going to really invigorate you in all areas of your life. This is really similar to what I said for Aries as well, is that, I think when you get back to kind of filling your cup of, growth and learning and, kind of going into these next levels of things that you want to learn in your life, then it starts to snowball. Then I think, once you kind of get into this routine of learning new things and doing new things, you're going to want more and more and more. And that's going to feel really good. That's going to feel a lot better than mindlessly scrolling on social media or zoning out watching the same shows that you've watched over and over and over again, right? I know that like Gemini, I know that you're looking for a little spark in life. So here it is. Okay, jump on board and let's go. Gemini, have a beautiful November, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, Cancer. Cancer, Cancer, Cancer. Interesting. I'm going to take a quick sip of my coffee. Cancer. You got the High Priestess reversed, and you're somebody that, or this is a reading that I also want to pull a second card for. And wow, I cannot make this stuff up because look at the imagery of these two cards together. It's like the same imagery. And I'll tell you that I've gone through pretty much this whole deck, and these might be the only cards with this kind of woman with this face. Cancer, you have the Ace of Wands reversed and the High Priestess reversed. What this is saying to me is that you need to be in a time, this is not a time of action for you, Cancer. Whereas with Aries and Taurus and Gemini, it was all very action oriented. It was like, all right, it's time to get into it. It's time to finally like rip off the Band-Aid, what, or get off the pot kind of thing. Like it's time to get going with some of this stuff. Actually, I think the complete opposite for you, Cancer. I think you need to be in a time of reflection, of contemplation, of waiting. Very much a time of reflection and contemplation. Just look at these cards. I mean, right there. Now they're both reversed. And so why I'm thinking it's not time to take action is because Ace of Wands is that, it's that spark that gets action going, but it's reversed. And same thing with the High Priestess. And what the High Priestess reversed is saying to me is that you don't quite have all the information yet. And also it's still integrating in your mind. So it does feel like you're on the precipice of a change or needing to make a decision and I think as I'm saying this, like, what I'm talking about, right? You've been thinking about something, you've been contemplating something, whether it is, deciding to maybe leave a job, leave a relationship, start a job, whatever it may be, like career change, a move. This does feel like a fairly significant decision that you are contemplating. But I think what this is saying is in the month of November, there is no rush. You do not need to rush this decision. And if you do rush this decision, you are going to regret it because you need to wait until the answer feels very clear. I say this to people all the time. You will know when it is time. When you know, you know. I love that song that's like, when you know, you know. But it's so true. You've had those moments where you have agonized over a decision. And then one day you wake up and it just feels clear. That's what's happening here. Do not rush this. If you rush this, I feel that you will really regret it. I really, really do. And again, with the Ace of Wands reverse and the High Priestess reverse, there it's just like, whoa, Nelly, hold on, hold on. You are not clear in thought yet. You are not clear in kind of this spiritual guidance. If you look at the High Priestess, you see kind of like this beautiful fuchsia light coming down into her crown chakra. So I don't think you're having that moment of clarity yet, and you can't force that. And that's super frustrating, right? Like, I'm just going to acknowledge that I think we all have our own human timelines. We're like, okay, I would like that clarity, that moment of clarity to show up right now. And it doesn't, right? Um, but this is, especially if you are on a spiritual path, this is where you really have to practice trust, and that you maybe don't always have all the information, and that sometimes you have to just trust and be patient and trust the fact that if you haven't gotten a really clear answer or had a really just calm and assured feeling in your body about the decision, that it is not the time. I do think what you don't resist opens up, right? So the more that you resist this and the more that you're like trying to force the answer or the clarity, I have a friend going through this right now. It's really funny. She's really wanting to figure something out about her life, and she's really kind of forcing it. And it's like the minute that she lets it go, it becomes clear. And we know this. We've heard this so many times, right? It's like you have to let it go for yourself and your soul to be that vessel of information, right? If you're kind of trying to micromanage when this clarity comes to you, it's just, I don't know if you can ever really get clear information. So what do you do in the meantime? Cancer, you keep doing your life. You keep waking up every day and doing your thing and realizing that not every single day is going to be you making a life-changing decision. The day will come where you make the life-changing decision, but it's not today. You're still just gathering data. And so again, this is there needs to be a lot of this action going on in the month of November, right? Eyes closed and meditating. Reflecting, right? So it can be walks, it can be journaling, it can be meditation, but really getting comfortable with being patient and with trusting that at the right time the answer will come to you. And I also am just going to put out there, Cancer, I think when the answer does come to you, and you'll know it, right? You're like, well, how am I going to know? How am I going to know that it's the time and that this is the answer? Because you'll know, you'll feel clear, and you'll feel relieved. You'll feel relieved. And can you even feel relieved in knowing that you don't have to rush the decision? But I do think that when this comes to you, everything is going to line up perfectly. And you're going to go, wow, I'm really, really glad I didn't force this decision. Because remember, any sort of urgency that you're feeling is man made 99.9% of the time, right? We've been really, really trained to feel urgent and, rushed. There is no rush. Don't buy into that. You want to make the right decision for you, so don't be afraid to let it really this decision needs to integrate into your body for a while. And when you receive, when it's the right time and you receive the information that you need and the clarity and the deep breath and the relief that you need to make the right decision, you'll know. Okay, Cancer, I could keep going on and on, but I got to keep moving. Thank you so much, Cancer. Keep me up to date. I'm super curious. Okay, Leo. Leo. Interesting. Yeah, so Leo, you got the Queen of Swords reversed. See if you can see that. So Leo, I think all of this is saying for you is it's actually kind of a similar message to Cancer of right now. I think you maybe were on a roll of, and I know that this is something that's come up for you a lot, Leo, in previous readings that I've done for you. You were very much action oriented in your life. You were really making a lot of decisions to set yourself up, set your life up in a certain way. And something has, I think for a lot of you, something has happened that has derailed that. We talked about this. We've had previous readings, whether you're new to my channel or you've been here for a while. I'll say the cliff notes for other readings that I've done for you recently is that there's kind of been this big bump in the road in your life and you've gotten derailed a little bit. And so I think this Queen of Swords reversed is just saying that remember that you are wiser than making decisions out of fear, out of panic, I think is really maybe the best way to put it. You have worked really, really hard to become the confident, controlled, and I don't mean that in a bad way, controlled in a really good way, meaning that you're making decisions that you feel really proud of, that are good for you, that are setting you up for a more stable life, a more grounded life, a more calm life. So you've worked really, really hard to do that. So just because things have changed for you doesn't mean you now have to revert back to your old self and kind of like be chaotic and do some sort of like frantic thing because things didn't go as planned. No, you actually know better now. And you're like, okay, great. Things didn't go as planned, which is okay. Good thing that I made such and such decisions so that this is not an absolute end of the world emergency for me. But I am not going to get myself back into a situation where I am overworked, where I am unappreciated, where I am hating my life, right? Doing things I don't want to do. I'm not going to get myself back into a situation where I am, quite frankly, accepting less than I deserve. So again, whether this is career, relationship, it all applies. And I want you to really, I love this imagery. Look at how confident she is. And she's just sitting there. She's just chilling. I love the bird in the background too. I think this talks about knowing that even in the slower moments of your life that everything is going to as planned, right? So even if you're kind of you've hit the pause button on some of your goals and some of your visions for your life, it doesn't mean they're over. It just means that it's like a diversion on a flight, right? You're going to get to the destination. It might just take a little bit longer, but what you're absolutely not going to do is compromise who you have become. So the month of November, keep taking action, right? So if you're taking action to change things in your life, wonderful, keep doing it. But this is a reminder to act slowly, to act cautiously, to act carefully, and to not fall victim to. I know we're getting into the holiday season for a lot of people, and this can be where it's like, I need money, things are getting expensive, we're going into a new year. Don't let a moment of panic have you forget what you've worked so hard on about yourself. Okay, Leo? Deep breaths. Leo, you're doing great. You're doing absolutely phenomenal, and you worked really hard to get here. So remember that. And in the month of November, you just need to keep doing that. Keep being your, calculated, controlled self that has a plan for their life, but do not give into feeling frantic, feeling desperate. Those are all human emotions that will come up, but it doesn't mean you have to act on them. All right, Leo, have a beautiful November. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Okay, so Virgo. Oh, Virgo. I'm a Virgo sun, so this card is definitely for me as well, which makes me giggle. Guys, I have a fresh latte, so I can't let it go cold. I have to drink it. Okay, so Virgo. I'm making this sound a lot more scary than it is. I'm just integrating this into my own system. So 10 of Wands, Virgo. I think what we are talking about here is the fact that you are overwhelmed, my dear. And yeah, welcome to the club. It's, I think being overwhelmed and being a Virgo goes hand in hand. And what I will say too is with love, I can say this as a Virgo sun, is that a lot of times we bring this onto ourselves. And I feel that it just means that Virgos often have to reevaluate and reassess. It's just something that's very much a part of our lives because we really just take a lot on. And that is not a bad thing, right? That's not a bad thing. It's just something to be aware of. Virgo, I think we can all say that we are very, very ambitious, motivated people. I've never really heard of a lazy Virgo. Sometimes we can become lazy because we take so much on and then we get burnt out, which is what this card is talking about, right? So this is where you need to start having a conversation with yourself of, where are you slacking in life? And are you slacking on the things that actually really matter to you? So whether that is, personal goals of yours or your fitness journey or your relationship with your kids or your romantic relationship or your friendships or your career, whatever it is, are you taking way too much on to where you have now disconnected yourself from what really matters, right? And it's okay. This is a cycle that we go through. Virgo, I will say I've just seen it with so many of us. And so I think it's safe to say that this is a cycle that we go through. And this 10 of Wands, 10 is the end of a cycle. And so it's saying, okay, it's time to pack up. I mean, if you actually look at this, it's like she's packed up and she's headed home. In the month of November, it's time to clean house. It's time to get to lessen the load. And as I'm saying this, Virgo, I'm cringing because I'm already making excuses in my head of why I can't let go of this thing and why I can't let go of that thing and why I have to keep doing this thing. And yeah, that's just not, yeah, that's not helping me. And that's not helping you. Um, So this is not always like the most fun thing to do. And this is something that you might really, really procrastinate on. But I'm just going to tell you right now, I think this card says it loud and clear. If you do not lessen the load, you're going to end up not being able to move forward. There's a point where you are too overloaded. I mean, look at everything that she's carrying and that this mule is carrying. Like, there's not much more that they can carry, and especially climbing up that mountain, heck no. So if you want to keep being able to move forward in the direction that you want to move forward in your life, something has got to give. Something has absolutely got to give. And in the month of November, your work, and November is a perfect time to do this, right? It's getting colder, it's getting darker, and it's time to address the things that have needed to be addressed, right? And to start to open up space so that, I mean, in the winter, I think the winter can actually be like a really, really productive time for people because people can really go inward. And the only thing about that, though, is if you have so much piled on top of you, you're not going to be able to actually use this slowed down yet productive time properly. Because if you have way too many commitments, it's not going to feel cozy and, introverted and productive in that way. It's going to feel really like, shoot, I have so many obligations and I wasn't ever able to get to any of the things that I want to get to. So, Virgo, I'm going to leave you with that. I think that you know what I'm saying. Um, and again, just keep in mind, Virgo, this is a cycle. Again, I think this is a cycle for you. It's a cycle for me for sure. You've come through the cycle again, as you have many, many times. It is time to lessen the load and then refocus on what actually matters to you. Okay, Virgo, thank you so much. And I will see you next month. Okay, Libra, we are going to continue on with you. Libra, I'm going to pull 2 cards for you. Interesting. So we have the Page of Wands reversed. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, here's what I think's up for you, Libra. I'm taking a stab at it. Let me know what you think. Libra, Page of Wands reversed. I think you have a fun and fancy-free side to you, but it may be preventing you from being who you really want to be. So I think your inclination to do the feel good thing, to do the warm and fuzzy thing, or to do the I think you sometimes give into your desires, which is not, I want to be clear that like, that's not a horrible thing, right? I think a lot of us actually need to give into our desires more in life. But Libra, I'm wondering if it's almost the opposite for you, where you're giving in so much to kind of your first impulsive thought that you're not giving it the foresight. You're not giving some decisions the foresight that they really deserve. And that I'm going to actually say that you are capable of, Libra. So I think it might be easy for you to say things like, well, you know me, I'm just spontaneous, or you know me, like, this is just what I do, kind of that, like, this is just what I do energy, like, this is just how I do things, like, I'm crazy, like, blah, blah, blah. But I don't really know if that's serving you anymore. And I feel like it's not just me saying to you, I don't know if it's serving you. Like, I think you're feeling this. You're feeling the effects of kind of this sporadic, spontaneous, just giving in to any desire that comes your way. And this is tough, Libra, because I'm someone that also loves spontaneity and loves going with the flow, and but this is different, right? This is different. I think this is basically saying that, not all, you don't need to always act on all impulses. And I would actually like question you as to when that has not worked out for you. Um, and that's the Queen of Pentacles, right? The Queen of Pentacles is that I've been there, I've done that, I'm wise because of my experiences. I have gone through a lot of stuff where I have done X, Y, and Z and seen how it's not worked out. And I am now wiser for it. And I make better decisions. I make decisions that are more planned out. I make more decisions that are thought out and are grounded. This is a very, very grounded energy. This is a very ungrounded energy, right? If you look at it, she's literally not even on the ground. She's in the air, she's jumping up. And at some points, this is the energy we need, right? Like this kind of go for it, like I'm just doing my thing is not always a bad thing. But I think you're craving something different. You're craving stability, Libra. Or at least that's what I'm taking a guess on. And so in the month of November, I'm wondering if you can start a list of what things you can start chipping away at and working on that are for the future, that are for your long-term vision, that are for the you that is older and wiser and had more experiences and knows what they want and knows what doesn't work and knows what it's realistically going to take to create certain things in their life. And they treat themselves with enough seriousness and respect to really plan those things out and to prioritize those things. And so this could look like, this is coming up for me right now, starting your retirement fund. This might be something that you thought about for years and years and years. Start it. This might be finally learning a new skill set that is going to allow you to start in a new career field. This might be, but again, it might take a while, right? This might be an investment of time and energy and money. I mean, it really does feel like kind of long-term things and things that are not going to give instant gratification. So again, I think that there's a lot of pleasure and fun. And again, Libra, like you are the people's person, right? So I think if someone extends out an opportunity for you to like have fun with them or do something spontaneous with them, you want to do it, not only because you like having fun, but also you want to please that person. And that's great. But I think again, I'm curious if as I'm saying this, you're really wanting a more kind of solid feeling in your life of you still get to have this because this is you have like that golden retriever energy, right? And that's not going to go away. But can you tame the golden retriever? Like it's time for the golden retriever to go to training, right? And learn some commands. I hope you don't take this offensively, Libra. By the way, all of my besties are Libras. Like everyone I love is a Libra. So that and Sagittarius. If you watch me long enough, you also know I have a lot of Sagittariuses. But got a lot of Libras in my life. So I love you guys, but I also know that desire that you have for stability and allowing yourself to dream and have the goal, reach the goals that you have for yourself. So in the month of November, I've rambled on a lot here, Libra, and I got to keep going. Um, but I just want you to take a look at this card one more time and really embody this energy of what are the things that I need to, instead of just kind of the day to day pleasures and the day to day kind of spontaneity that's coming up, how do I kind of shut that down in the month of November and focus on the bigger long term things that I need to do? And then I can start to welcome back in the spontaneity because I've done the grounding work that I need to do. I've gotten serious. I've figured those things out. I've put plans into place. But you got to do that. You got to do that because then that's going to allow you to feel good about this. Because I'm thinking that you're getting to a point, even with your spontaneity, and you're kind of just going with the flow, that you're not even feeling good about it because you're just like, this is very, flighty, and I'm just kind of going for it all the time. You will feel better if you do the things you've been avoiding. Then all those kind of extra fun things, they feel like they've truly been earned. And you don't feel guilty about it, right? That's the thing. You don't feel guilty. And because you've just tended to the other area of your life that also needs attention. You need to be spontaneous, but you also need to take care of yourself, right? And plan for the things that you want. Okay, Libra, I hope that this was helpful. Super curious how this, like, tell me how you're feeling about this, of course. And I will see you next month. Thanks so much, Libra. Okay, Scorpio, Scorpio, Scorpio. Oh, interesting. So Scorpio, Knight of Swords reversed. And I'm going to show you this upright first. Look at this. Really interesting. So it's a guy. He's got a bow and arrow on his back. He's got tennis shoes on. And he is going after his motorcycle. He's like off, right? He's off to do something. And you know what, Scorpio? I'm going to pull another card for you as well. Because I feel like this would go in a lot of directions. Interesting. So you got the star. You got the star card as well. That's a really pretty card. Really, really, really pretty card. Okay, Scorpio, I think you need to stop trying to escape. That's actually what I think is going on here. You need to stop trying to escape. You gotta stay in the moment. You gotta stay committed. You gotta stay in the present. If you want to have your Phoenix rising moment, right, this is the star to me always reminds me of kind of like that Phoenix rising from the ashes energy. Um, and it's really like, I think in this card specifically, it's like you regaining your power, your inspiration, but really specifically, it feels like your power and your power to create the life that you want. So reharnessing back into that. It's like she is literally reattaching herself to the life force, to the thing that allows her to create the magic in her life. The star card is one of my favorites because it's really about a redemption. It's about coming back. from, maybe you kind of went down for a while and now you're coming back. You're redeeming yourself. You are back on the right track. You are getting your life in order. But this Knight of Swords reversed, this is distraction, right? This is you. I think what this is saying is be really, really aware in the month of November of where you could be getting distracted or where you could be kind of like allowing yourself to go on a tangent or down a rabbit hole instead of very much kind of staying in your own life, and working on your own stuff. So this is your season, Scorpio, right? This is your time to shine. And so I think, I'm just going to say it would be a shame for you to get involved with something that you don't need to get involved with. And I will say that this Knight of Swords to me is kind of screaming like a savior situation. So maybe you getting involved with somebody and their drama, or a situation and the drama of that situation, and you getting carried away by that and you getting distracted by that, and then not being able to harness this energy for yourself. I really think this is your season. I think Scorpios feel really invigorated by Scorpio season. It's interesting. Like, I'm a Virgo and I actually never really feel good during Virgo season. So I don't know. But I think that's the thing. It's astrologically a hard time for me particularly, but I don't know. Like, Scorpio, this could be a really powerful time for you. And even if it's not, don't make it harder on yourself by kind of bringing something else in. Again, like this, it almost seems like this character is like running off to go rescue somebody. Do you need to do that, or do you need to rescue yourself, right? Like, you've worked really hard to get yourself where you are now, and you're feeling good about things. Don't let yourself get derailed, I think, is really the message here. So in the month of November, you might have some temptations. You might have some things that are like, ooh, I could help this person. Ooh, I could get involved here. Um, this is your forewarning to not. And again, to, I think, really double down on your goals. And if anything, really put your goals more in front of you. So whether it's tapping back into a routine that's worked for you, whether it's recommitting, maybe it's recommitting going back to the gym, maybe it's recommitting to, studying for something that you were studying for, whether it's school, whether it's, an advancement in your career, whether it is, maybe cooking more healthy meals, whatever it is, recommitting to that thing. That's what you need to lean into right now. I think there might be some distraction. It's also getting colder in my part of the world and a lot of our parts of the world right now. And so I'm just going to say it, like, it's cutting season, right? And that's a distraction, my friends. I'm just being aware. I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. Don't let yourself be distracted. Don't let yourself be distracted. Okay? Focus on you, my love. And all the right people will come into your world when you really, focus on you. Okay? All right, Scorpio. Enjoy your season. Happy birthday. And I'll see you next month. Sagittarius, we are moving on to you. And Sagittarius, this message feels very, very clear to me. It feels very direct, and I feel like there is a phrasing that I'm just going to share with you right off the bat. And before I do that, it is the Strength card that I pulled for you. And simply put, I think that in this month of November, it is a time to lean in to where you feel uncomfortable. So if something feels uncomfortable or agitating or annoying, or like you just want to ignore it, that is actually where you need to dig your heels in. And maybe not dig your heels in. Maybe that's not really the right phrasing, because that sounds almost kind of like aggressive or passive aggressive. No, I want you to really commit to being there. So wherever you feel, again, I feel like the feelings might be agitated, annoyed, frustrated. like, screw this. I'm, not going to deal with this right now. I want you in the month of November, if you can, and if you remember this reading, which again, I'm like, this is why I keep these readings simple so that you can take something simple from it and really do something about it. When you're wanting to just jump ship because something is frustrating you and you're like, I would much rather fill in the blank, do something pleasurable, right? Because Sagittarius, love you guys. I know that you're always going for the fun. you're going for the good feeling. And there's nothing wrong with that, Sagittarius. Like, a lot of us need that in our lives, especially my Virgo self. I need Sagittarius to remind me to just not everything has to be so serious. But where are you not really, where are you maybe hindering yourself from that next level of growth and kind of staying at a certain level of, dare I say, maturity in certain parts of your life when you don't stay in the things that are agitating and are irritating and annoying and you don't want to deal with it? Are you really growing? And yes, it's not always about growth. You don't always have to be growing in life. I think that that's something that we're taught, is that you always have to be growing and always have to be improving. And I think sometimes that's true and sometimes that's not. But I think that you are in a stage of life right now where you need to lean into that. I think that's why this upright, very straightforward strength card is coming through, because it's saying you can handle it. And you can handle it with grace and dignity. You see the lamb on here with the lion, and I love that the lion is like half of her face, and then the other half is just like a human face, and then you have the lamb. And it's just reminding you that you can show up gracefully. And wouldn't it feel cool if you actually really maybe responded to a situation differently than you typically do? That actually might feel really, really gratifying for you, Sagittarius. Like, I think maybe you're kind of in some cycles where you do dip out of a situation um, when you're, not wanting to be a part of it anymore. And maybe you haven't felt proud about that in the past, or you don't keep commitments. So you may be, saying, I'm going to commit to this thing, and then you don't actually do that. And it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good, Sagittarius. That's the whole point. And so that's what I'm saying. This is that next level of growth for you, is in the month of November. I think this is kind of a pivotal point for you where you get to try this out. So where you would typically say, deuces, I'm out. This is getting hard. This is getting frustrating. This is not fun. You actually stay into it because things are not always fun. And maybe that's my Virgo coming out, right? But no, I really feel that not everything is fun all the time. And that is what makes the when we do have a really, really gratifying moment, it comes from the opposition of sometimes things being really, really difficult to commit to. So it's like, think back to when you've really committed to something. And I'm thinking in my mind for a lot of Sagittarius, as I know, like people that have done marathons or triathlons or have trained for certain things or have worked really hard to get a certain job or have gone through schooling. Think back to those times and how much you wanted to dip out like every other second, right? But something kept you going. And was that fun all the time? Were you like skipping down the sidewalk every second? No. But was it worth it? Absolutely. It was. And so I think you're kind of at that point of your life again where it's like you're kind of looping back around and you have a choice to make. Do you do the thing that you don't really want to do all the time, but the end result is what you want? If you stay and you see it through, there's a lot more gratification on the other side of that than if you just kind of bow out. And if you continue to bow out, will you regret that? Will you really feel good about that? Or do you need to hang in there Like, what do you want? You know what I mean? Do you want that gratification of staying committed to it, or getting committed to something and leaning into it? Again, if there's discomfort, discomfort is there to teach you something, Sagittarius. It is. It's there to teach you something about yourself. And so in this month of November, if you're feeling things, again, if you can take any message from this, it's when something starts to pop up and irritate you, don't run away from it. Lean into it, question it. What's going on here? Why is this annoying me? And what do I maybe need to learn here? And do I really want to just walk away from this? Or what's the bigger gratification on the other side of me staying and working through this? And Sagittarius, just a reminder too with this strength card, you've done this before, you can do it again, okay? This isn't your first rodeo. All right, thank you so much, Sagittarius. I will see you in the next video. All right, Capricorn. Capricorn. We have the 9 of Swords reversed. And then we have the 7 of Cups reversed. So I pulled 2 cards for you. And this is interesting because kind of similar imagery has come up for a few other signs that I've pulled 2 cards for. So we have the 7 of Cups and the 9 of Swords, and they are both reversed. But look at this imagery. I will say that the 9 of Swords is definitely more sadness, overwhelm. And then the 7 of Cups is a little bit more contemplative, but what this is what I'm getting from this. The message, I think, is coming through because we have this 9 of Swords, and 9 of Swords to me always talks about anxiety. But anxiety that, and I say this with all the love, right? But when this comes through, I always promise to really just say it how I see it. 9 of Swords is a little bit of anxiety that we bring on to ourselves. It's overwhelm, fear, anxiety, kind of that up all night sort of worrying about something energy. There are solutions to it. That's what I will say, is that it is not something to where we are powerless or you are powerless. You have power in this situation. There are things that you can rearrange in your life. There are decisions that you can make so that you are not feeling the same pressure. But when you kind of don't when you ignore those things, or you don't address the things that need to be addressed, it becomes bigger. And so we have the 7 of Cups reversed. And so I think the combination of the two here, there's something here about addressing what is in front of you. So instead of adding more to your list, more to your plate, which Capricorn, you are also an earth sign like Virgo. And so I totally get this. Okay. I think sometimes when we are overwhelmed or when we're stressed or when we're unsure, we just actually add more to the list. We never think, how do I take stuff off of the list? How do I simplify my life? How do I eliminate things from my worry list, from my stress? We add more on. It's like we pile more on. We take more on. We take on more responsibility, right? We take on more work. We take on more clients. We take on more bills. And what this is saying is if you continue to add more, you are not taking the action that you can take to eliminate the stressors that you have power over. Of course, there are always stressors, right, that we do not have power over, but there's actually many, many, many stressors that we do have power over. And so the 7 of Cups reversed is saying the answer is not, you don't need one more thing. You don't need one more responsibility. You don't need one more job, one more idea. You don't need an idea to fix it. There is no solution of adding something onto your life that is the answer. The overwhelm, the stress comes from the need to simplify. And I will say that Virgo did have a similar message come through. I'm trying to think about Taurus because Taurus is also earth sign. It was different. I will say it was a different message. This feels similar to Virgo in that it is about, it is not about adding things, saying, you know what, I need to do this too, or I need to, I need to try this as well. It's actually really looking at, okay, what needs to go and how do I make less choices in my life? I think that's actually like the better phrasing of this specifically for you is how do I simplify my life? Because the 7 of Cups, this talks about choices. This is just like you constantly having to make decisions and choices. And the more that you add that on, it's like the more mental energy that you're using. And what does that do? That creates chaos in our mind. I've talked about this a lot throughout this whole video, and I actually just made another video about this, right? Like it just adds more chaos in our mind. And so, very simply put, Capricorn, I would not be shocked to hear from you that you're feeling quite overwhelmed, quite anxious, quite stressed out. And when you are doing that, and when you are feeling that, the answer is not, well, what else? Let me, so this is what comes to me, Capricorn. If you're feeling overwhelmed by how many demands that you have on you all the time, so you constantly having people like, let's say there's constantly people texting you, the answer is not, oh my God, I have to answer everybody immediately. You can say to yourself, I'll get back to them at some point. The answer is not to take on more responsibility for somebody else. So if somebody is needing something from you, it is okay to say, it is okay to just not respond. It is okay to say, hey, can you get with me next month? I might be in a better place. But right now, I really, really think that if you are wanting to start at a fresh slate, and I'm actually like I'm feeling the franticness. I'm feeling the anxiety. Um, it is time to not add more choices. It is time to add less choices. So how can you slash any choices off of your plate? I mean, also like here's another thing. If you have to eat the same thing for lunch and dinner for 2 weeks, like if you're like, you know what, I'm going to meal prep chili and I'm going to, pre-make some sandwiches and that's what I'm going to eat for 2 weeks and you just make it super simple, like that's what you need to do right now. You need to cut down the choices. Let yourself come back down and have less to think about so then you can actually decide, okay, what do I need? What actually does matter? What do I need to think about? But right now, you like this 7 of Cups and this 9 of Swords, it's very, very like heightened. And so I think in the month of November, I would really encourage you. And I think you might have some temptations of people that need things from you or opportunities that come your way, or feeling like, I think really what it more is, Capricorn, is that you're going to feel like, well, if I just did this, or if I just did that, or if I just tried this, it would solve my anxiety. It would solve what I'm feeling right now. So I think you're feeling, again, very, very kind of untethered. And you're feeling like, well, if I just did this, or if I just did that, it would help me feel better. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't need another thing on your plate. You don't need another solution. You have plenty of solutions. It's time to actually pare down so that you can really focus in on the solutions and the things that you already have available to you. Use the things that are simple and have worked in the past. not try to add something else on. And if this is finances, last thing I'll say, if this is finances, again, it's about becoming more frugal, becoming more mindful of how you're spending your money. Again, going towards simplicity, then I need another job, I need to do more work, not adding more onto your plate, because the reality is if you're having erratic spending right now, or spending that feels out of your control, or that you're overspending, making more money, you're just going to continue that trajectory. It's actually about coming inward and going, okay, what needs to change on the root level? All right, Capricorn, thank you. I'm sorry, Capricorn. I feel like we always got like tough readings for you. But I know you're really feeling it right now. And I'm just going to say the answer is not more. The answer is less. The answer is to go inward. And the answer is to work with what you got. And again, I think this for a lot of people might be financially related. And it's not to get another job. It's not to sell things on the internet. It's to focus on what can I eliminate? What can I be more frugal about to create more space and relieve some anxiety in my life? Okay, Capricorn, thank you so much. Please let me know how that landed. I hope that that was something that you needed to hear. I know that was kind of intense, but I hope that that helped. Okay, cruising through here. Aquarius, we have this for you. Aquarius, this card is for you. So we have the King of Wands. And I love this. Aquarius, this is saying, I mean, this is kind of like a very, very, very simple reading for you, Aquarius, but embrace it and love that there's not a whole lot of complication going on in your life right now. That's a good thing, because Aquarius, I feel like you've been on a rocky road. And so we're just really, really going to appreciate simplicity. And Aquarius, what this is saying to me is you are set up for success right now. You have everything that you need and more to pursue any ventures that you are wanting to pursue. You are able to, and again, it's really interesting because I see this lion in the background and I'm like, is this a predator to the King of Wands, or is this a protector? And I will say that it actually feels like a protector. And this feels like you. The lion is you. You have really built up your confidence, and you have built up this idea of like, this is what I want for my life, and this is what I want to create, and this is what I will tolerate, and this is what I won't tolerate. And just even his face here, it's like, I'm ready. I am so clear on how I want to turn things around in my life. And you're just in this really good, confident, strong place. And so in the month of November, I'm just telling you, go for it, Aquarius. Again, I wish I could give you a more complicated reading, but I told you I like to keep it simple. This is simple. This is the month for you to go all in. So for whatever idea or inspiration that you have for yourself, whatever goal you have for yourself or goals, it is time to just do it. Like you need to just do it. And I'm slapping the table. I'm excited about this. You need to go for it. And again, you have this lion energy within you. I don't think this is any sort of a threat. I think this is the confidence. And this is like, I think this lion is going to walk with you. And, if there is something that comes up that you're like, you know what? No, I'm not wanting this. This is not, I've worked very hard to figure out what I want and what I don't want, and this thing is giving me a big red flag. Listen to that, right? Like that lion is there to protect you in that way. And what that lion is, it's your confidence, it's your assuredness of what you're trying to do with your life. This can be a really intimidating energy. So just be aware that, and this is not a bad thing. I just think like you're going to be very direct, and you're very much like kind of on your path and knowing what you want. And it might feel a little bit uncomfortable to you, because I think this is really for the first time where you're just so clear of like, I know I want these things and I know that I'm capable of them. And you just have to be unleashed. I think in the month of November, it's just about you being unleashed, just allowing yourself to run with it. You're going to have a lot of energy. This is also a very athletic figure here. And I think, like, literally, you have a lot of stamina in this month. You're going to have a lot of energy to just do a lot and to really see, kind of be in this life that you've wanted to be in for a while. I think this, kind of productive energy that you've wanted is coming through. You have a lot of energy, and in the month of November, use it. Use it, run with it. This is not a complicated message. This is more a message of, if you've been feeling this building up within you, this, like, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. You're correct. And you need to stick to that. That's the biggest thing. You got to stick to it, because it's really easy to maybe question yourself or go, I don't know, am I being a little too confident? Am I a little too full of myself? Can you just like be a little delusional, a little delulu in the month of November and just go with it? Can you just give me that? See how it goes. Commit for the month of November. I'm going for it. Any idea that I have, any inspiration, I'm just doing it. I'm acting on my inspiration, my motivation, my ideas, and I'm gonna dedicate myself to that for the month of November. We're gonna see how that feels, and then we'll reevaluate from there, right? And the thing is, you're gonna get the ball rolling. You're gonna get the momentum going, and it's gonna feel really good, and you're gonna want to keep doing it. Okay, so this is your wide open path to do that in the month of November, and I cannot encourage it anymore, Aquarius. This is your time. If it feels like your time, you are correct. You are on fire. You have all the energy and the good things behind you. You have the confidence behind you, most specifically, and go for it. Commit to it for this month, and that momentum is going to build. I promise you. I love this because I'm an Aquarius rising, so I am all into this. I'm all into this. We deserve this, okay? Because we've been going through it, so we deserve this. All right, thank you so much, Aquarius. I will see you soon. All right, Pisces. Oh, Pisces. I love this. I love this so much, Pisces. I'm going to pull 2 cards for you, actually. So, Pisces, we have the 9 of Pentacles, but then we have the King of Cups reversed. And to me, what this is saying is nothing can break you. I think that you've worked in Pisces. This is something that we've talked about for so long, for you specifically, is that you've really just walked the hard road, right? You've really hung in there through thick and thin, and through all of, there's just, life has thrown a lot of experiences your way, Pisces. And you have stayed dedicated. And we talked about, maybe about 6 months ago, how you had really kind of completed a cycle of dedicating yourself to really improving your life. So it was kind of like you had gone to school, or you had built your career. It really felt like you did something to really better your life and set yourself up, and that you've worked very, very hard to get here. So overall, there's a lot of good things happening for you. And sometimes I think, especially you, Pisces, like, I think it's easy to go, can I really trust this, or is this like real? Is this okay? Is this too much? Am I overwhelming myself? Am I taking too much on? Because I think it's kind of like the floodgates opened in your life, and just a lot of goodness has come in. And that's after a period of, and I mean really a long period, like years and years, Pisces, I think, of you having to kind of fight through things. You having to really kind of like climb out of the hole a lot. And you always did. I mean, that's the thing. And so this is where this King of Cups comes in. That's where you become the King of Cups, is when you continually dedicate yourself to life and dedicate yourself to the vision of something better for your life. That is faith. That is spirituality. That is hope. When you continually think, I can make this better. I will create more in my life. That is how you build inner peace, because you basically say, regardless of what happens in my external environment, I trust me. I will bet on me, and I will continue to show up for me. So even if this happens, and even if this happens, I still trust me. And so again, you got this King of Cups that did come up reversed. And I think all that's saying is you are unshakable in this way. Um, and I think too, there's something here as well, because you got this Nine of Pentacles. And I think there might be things going on where I think there might be a part of you that's like, should I be, there could be things that are not going right in your life, right? And you might be asking yourself, should I feel like, should I get more upset about this? Should I not be still in this state of really just feeling like things are good and like things are working out? And this feeling of, again, this trust, this inner trust. You've like built and harbored this inner trust and this hope for so long. And I think that there might be things right now where, things have been going well, and then maybe things are kind of also simultaneously, there's some things that have not gone the way that you thought they would, or have been upsetting, or have shocked you on some level. So maybe there's like a little bit of rocking of the boat, right? And so you might be questioning I don't think you're questioning your faith or your hope. I think you're questioning, I still feel so good. Is that okay? I think that's what you're actually questioning, right? So that's that Nine of Pentacles. You're like, there's so much that I'm grateful for. There's so much opportunity here. There's so much that is around me, and is I have so many choices. I have so many opportunities. I'm just feeling very abundant and blessed, and like I have a lot of opportunities. And so is that okay for me to think that, even if XYZ didn't work out the way that I thought it would, or if, some things are kind of going in a way that I didn't expect? And Pisces, I really just think in the month of November, this is an encouragement for you to keep doing all of the things that you've done to really harbor and build and solidify your inner peace and your understanding of the bigger picture. I think that's really what this is that you see the bigger picture. You see that things are not black and white. You see that things are not linear. You see that things don't always go according to plan. And you see that there is always a way out. There's always a solution. And that you're not giving up. You're not jumping ship. Even when the boat is rocked, you're still staying in the boat. And I think in the month of November, I don't think that, I think that your external environment might be kind of testing you a little bit, but you're tuned in. You're tuned into this deeper emotional wisdom that you have through many, many years of hardship, and working through that hardship and staying dedicated to your path, even in these tougher times. And so in the month of November, you get to simultaneously enjoy these things, but also I want you to lean even more into the practices that have worked for you. For the things, so go back, because right now you might have kind of gotten into a flow and kind of forgotten some of these things. But what are the things that really help you emotionally? Because that is what has gotten you to this place where you see so many opportunities and so much abundance and so much beauty, is this emotional work that you've done on yourself. And so, again, when the boat starts to rock, sometimes that's where we need to go back to the things that allow us to feel control of our emotional world. Because really, the way that we experience things, that's what life's all about. The actual external details are pretty arbitrary because one thing can happen to one person and it completely rocks their world. And the same thing can happen to another person and it can be the best thing that ever happened to them. And I think Pisces, you have the power of making it be that second option. And again, this is not like a toxic positivity thing or that you're like denying yourself of your emotions. This is more about really making sure, and even just looking at this imagery, how do you continue to choose the road that you have chosen for a long time that is grounding yourself first and really, again, I think looking from a bigger picture viewpoint, what are the things that you have done in your life to allow you to do that? And how do you continue to bring that into your life? But really, and Pisces, I know this is kind of more of like an obscure message for you for November. It wasn't really straightforward. I think what this is meant to kind of show you is that, yes, if you are feeling like things are really great, they are. They are. And you have done the emotional work to have that emotional experience right now. Even if things are tough, you still have a lot of hope and you're seeing a lot of opportunity. And so instead of kind of falling off, it's time to lean into those things that have gotten you to this place. Thank you, Pisces. I always love reading for you. You guys, you've just worked really hard. I mean, I'm just going to say it. I think of all the signs, you guys have really gone through it in the recent years, and you've really hung in there. And it's paying off. It's paying off. And it's not just paying off materialistically around you, it's paying off in your emotional state, in the way that you're experiencing your life. And you deserve that. So, Pisces, thank you so much. Everyone that watched, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope that your reading really landed with you, helped you, gave you some guidance for this month of November. Again, I really hope that you just took something simple from it and are able to carry it into this month. Again, thank you so much. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. I upload pretty regularly on here, either readings or educational tarot content. And I'd love to see you again. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful month. Bye.